Hey everyone, Complex back with another video, and today we're going to talk about something a little different for the channel, which is A Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town. This game recently came out for both the PC and the Nintendo Switch, and I have been highly addicted to the game. It's adorable. I love the whole farming sim aspect of it. It's actually super relaxing as well, and there's a lot of really interesting and fun characters within the game. So today I wanted to walk you through my top 10 tips, especially if you are a new player to just either the game or the Harvest Moon series overall. So let's just dive on into it. So the first tip is that when you buy a single seed from the general store, it's actually the equivalent of a 3x3 plot. So you actually get 9 different plots out of it. It has to be in a 3x3 square. And when you go to put the seed itself down, it'll actually show you in an outline where the seed itself will go. So you want to make sure that you prepared the proper amount of soil in the proper 3x3 square. But if you're used to games like Stardew Valley or My Time at Portia, anything like that, you're probably used to 1 seed equals 1 plot, but it's not the way in this game. It is actually 1 seed equals 9 whole squares, which is really nice and super convenient. It makes planting a whole lot easier, and I am obsessed with it. Tip number 2, there's actually a mirror in your home where you can change your outfits. The mirror is to the left of your bookshelf, and if you interact with it, you will actually see that you have a plethora of outfits. So you can change what you're wearing whenever you want, which is really awesome because I, for one, like to kind of mix it up from day to day, and some of the outfits are actually really cute. So if you want to do that, make sure you go check out your mirror. Now, the next tip is to get your fishing rod as early as possible. In order to obtain it, all you have to do is go visit Zach after you've met him, which you actually meet him at the beginning of the game. He is the person that comes and collects from your shipping bin every day at 5 o'clock. You can find him on the beach, and if he's home, all you have to do is walk in and you'll get a little intro scene, and he'll basically hand you a fishing rod, and then you're good to go fishing. Fishing is a great way to make some easy money. It doesn't eat up a ton of stamina to fish, and it's actually really relaxing in this game, and there are a lot of different places that you can go ahead and fish. So I know some people have said though that you're only allowed to get the fishing rod on X days, this and that, but I did play around with it, and as long as I had already met Zach, which the game forces you to at the beginning, and he's at the home next to the little beach shack. He's like literally right on the water. As long as I've met him and he's at his home, you can get it as far as I know. So make sure you go ahead and grab that as soon as possible. Next up, gathering doesn't eat up your stamina. So you can go ahead and gather as much as you want, either foraging in the forest or just kind of clearing plots and stuff like that off your land. None of that actually equals eating up your stamina. So go ahead and do that to your heart's content as often as you want, which is super nice. So then that way you can go ahead and save your stamina for important things like mining or taking care of your farm or the animals and stuff like that. Next tip, you might not know this, but there is actually a cabinet in your house. It is on the back wall all the way to the left, and you can store anything that isn't a food item in there. And the nice thing is the items stack up to 999. So for instance, you can have 999 or 999 flowers, stuff like that per stack within that storage. So make sure you're heading back in there and dumping things that you don't need right away into that cabinet, so that way you can clear up space in your backpack. Now, next up, you want to make sure that when you go ahead and visit the mines, you not only bring your hammer with you to break rocks, but you bring the hoe with you as well. What you're going to want to do is break rocks to get the minerals, but the hoe itself is what's going to help you find a ladder so you can go down deeper levels within the mines. Now, the nice thing is too, there is the hot spring right next to the mine, so you can go ahead and replenish your stamina as you need. But as a heads up, if you leave the mine, however deep you've gone, you've lost that progression until you unlock being able to have the elevator that goes down every 50 levels, but that'll be further in the game. So to start, you just want to make sure that you have both the hoe and the hammer with you, so that way you can go down as far as you can before you lose all your stamina. Now, the next tip probably comes as no surprise if you're familiar with these kinds of games, but there are a lot of fun and lively villagers. So it's really suggested to go ahead and say hi to all of them as often as possible. Not only can you romance some of them and potentially start a family, that's something that you'd enjoy, but there's a lot of interesting stories to each of them and a lot of interesting dynamics. There are also some kinds of like mini cutscenes between two of the characters that you can walk in on and learn more about them and their relationship. So make sure that kind of once you're done using up your stamina for the day, you go ahead and visit the villagers and see what they all have to say. Now, the next tip is a one that's kind of come down to personal preference. I've tried playing this game both with the mouse and keyboard as well as the controller, and I will say this game feels a whole lot better on the controller for me as opposed to MKB. So if you're trying to figure out what you want to do, I'd highly suggest trying both, but just knowing that controller makes a little bit more sense. There is key bindings for MKB, so if you want to rebind a lot of stuff to fit your preferences, you can absolutely do that as well. But just overall, certain hit markers, stuff like that, I have found to be a little bit more comfortable with the controller. But overall, the MKB port isn't too bad on this. Now, next up, you can save anywhere at any time. This might be a weird tip if you're used to Harvest Moon games or Story of Season, anything like that. But coming from Stardew Valley, My Time at Portia, those kinds of farming sim games, you normally can't save at any point at any time. You have the option to write in your journal no matter where you are. Your journal is located either on your nightstand to the left of your bed, or you can go ahead and find it in the menu. And all you have to do is write to your journal and you can save your game and come back whenever you'd like, which to me is a huge bonus and a huge feature, just because one of the things that has actually always bothered me about games like My Time at Portia and stuff like that and Stardew Valley is that I couldn't save at any point, but now you can. So make sure that you take advantage of that. Now, my last tip is about a character called the Harvest Goddess. If you're used to this franchise or games kind of similar to it, you might have heard of her before, but you want to actually be offering her tribute daily if at all possible, because that's eventually how apparently you unlock the ability to get a pet. And that is probably one of the most important things in this game. I mean, come on, guys, this is why we're here. The dogs and cats and pets are like adorable. So what you want to do is head to the waterfall that is to the right of the mine, and you want to toss daily a flower as tribute, or you could toss, I guess, milk and eggs would also work. But I think flowers are the easiest because you can just forage for them whenever you'd like, and they're generally easy to find no matter the season. But you want to make sure that you just toss one in every day. Literally for me, it's I water my crops, say hi to my pets, and then I go ahead and head right on over to visit her and toss it in so I don't forget. So then that way I can unlock getting a doggo or a cat later on. So do that. But y'all, that's it. Those are just some of my starter tips for Story of Seasons. I hope that you are enjoying this game so far. I am having an absolute blast. And if you're somebody that is debating on buying it and you do get it, I hope that you enjoy it. If you have questions about the game, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your night and or day, depending on where you are in the world. And I will catch you next time. Bye, guys.